Okay, let's get into this. Today we're doing a deep dive on head safety, but maybe not where you'd expect. We're talking about your own garage, your basement, that kitchen reno.
Exactly.
We looked at the sources, and there's this core finding that a huge mindset shift happens at home. People rush, they work tired, they take shortcuts.
Right, and it's this feeling that commercial hazards just don't apply to a small DIY job.
Yeah.
And what's really fascinating is that it's not because people think safety is dumb. They skip the hard hat because the job just feels small.
There's no foreman watching you.
Exactly, no foreman. You're just swapping out a light fixture. But the data shows that a certified hard hat is really just cheap insurance for that one accident that gives you zero warning.
So let's talk about where those risks are actually hiding. It's not always the big, obvious stuff, right?
Yeah.
The sources seem to point overwhelmingly to one thing, working directly above your head.
That is absolutely right. The risk is twofold. You've got dropped objects, of course, but then there's the loss of balance that comes from that. Let's break that down. A simple one is just working under someone else.
I'm picturing a dropped wrench, but what else?
Well, imagine the person above you just shifts their weight or loses their balance for a second. A tool, even just an elbow, can swing down and hit you. And that impact, even a small one, can be enough to knock you right off your ladder.
Which brings us to demolition. I mean, tearing out a ceiling always feels messy, but the sources specifically flag old lath and plaster. Why is that so dangerous?
Because it doesn't crumble. It breaks off in these heavy, unpredictable sheets. You could have a chump that's, I don't know, 15, 20 pounds.
Wow.
And it comes down with these really heavy, sharp edges. So you're 5 feet up on a ladder and you take that to the head. You're not just looking at a bad cut. You're facing a serious fall.
That makes perfect sense, the weight and the sharp edges. Okay, what about something simpler, like just prying or cutting overhead?
So a tool can slip, that's one thing. But more often, you have a fastener that's been in place for decades. It doesn't pull out gently. It releases with a violent snap.
Right.
And that sudden release puts your head and your face directly in the line of fire. Also, think about tight spaces.
Like a small bathroom or a closet.
Yeah. You're on a stepladder, you bump your head on a joist. Normally, no big deal. But in a cramped room, you have no space to regain your balance. A hard hat just takes the sting out of that bump so you can get your footing.
Okay, and outside work. Let's not forget that. Chainsawing, lopping branches. What's the hidden danger there?
It's the unpredictability. It's stored energy. A branch under tension doesn't just fall down. When you cut it, it can twist, it can bounce, it can kick sideways like a spring.
Right.
That kinetic motion is what you have to protect against.
You know, if you've ever dropped something small in your head, a screw, a tape measure, you know, that little moment of shock.
Yeah.
Now just scale that up to a chunk of plaster or a hammer. That cheap piece of plastic suddenly seems like a really good idea.
And that really gets to what a hard hat does. It reduces the impact force, obviously.
Yeah.
It prevents cuts, stops punctures. But the most valuable part is probably the suspension system inside.
The webbing.
The webbing, yeah. It creates this 1-inch gap between the shell and your skull. That space is a shock absorber. It can be the difference between a bad headache and a concussion.
So if you're convinced, how do you choose the right one for DIY stuff?
Yeah.
I mean, you want something you'll actually wear.
Comfort is key. You want to look for certified hats. Here, you'd be looking for CSA-approved hard hats.
Okay.
For most DIY, a Type I hard hat, which is for top impact, is going to be enough. But you have to check the label, make sure the suspension is adjustable, and it sits level.
And the fit is everything. It can't rock around when you look up or bend down.
Precisely. And if you're climbing, use the chin strap. A hard hat does zero good if it falls off a second before the impact. You know, just wearing it makes you more aware of what's above you.
So the simple goal here is to protect the one part of your body you really can't just walk off an injury to.
Absolutely. Oh, and always pair it with eye protection when you're cutting or demoing overhead. They're a team.
This has been a fantastic deep dive. For a good list of CSA-approved hard hats, and to see the criteria we just talked about, you can visit the Southwest Safety and Supply website in Brantford.
And our final thought for you to take away. Just think about that one split second where a hard hat could earn its keep. Is that one cheap piece of plastic worth preventing a worst-case scenario?
That's all the time we have. Stay safe out there and stay informed.